Alright, so this is the new Wahoo TRACKR heart rate monitor, and Wahoo basically ditched their old TICKR chest heart rate straps and replaced it with this. And to get probably the most important thing out of the way, it definitely delivers far better performance than the TICKR and TICKR X ever did. But while they're at it, they went ahead and also made this rechargeable instead of having to replace a coin cell battery. Kind of a unique thing for a chest heart rate strap, but more thoughts on that here in just one bit. So with the new TRACKR, Wahoo went back to the drawing board based on the kind of hit and miss reliability and performance of their TICKR chest heart rate straps. Like for me, I had TICKR straps that weren't great straight out of the box, to some other folks who may have had really good performance at first to only have it not work months down the road. And from all my testing so far over the last 3 weeks, the TRACKR's been essentially perfect when it comes to both accuracy as well as connectivity. Near perfect heart rate accuracy over the dozens of workouts that I've had, and also not one single dropout. So from a 3-week perspective, the issues with the TICKR and TICKR X seem to be kind of behind us. Now, heart rate straps don't last forever, of course, where with some straps, they may last only like a year or so, but with some others, I've actually had last for like 3 to 4 years. So I can't really comment at this point on the long-term reliability of the TRACKR, but I'll definitely have a follow-up video a little bit later on down the road, so make sure to subscribe to get a notification when that video comes out. The other big part of the TRACKR though is that it's rechargeable versus nearly every other chest heart rate strap out there, which uses a replaceable coin cell battery. And they say that you should be able to get up to 100 hours of use out of it. And let's see, over the last 3 weeks or so, I've used it for about 28 hours of training, and it's used just about 25% of the battery in that time. So that 100-hour claim seems to be actually conservative. So the TRACKR comes in 2 different parts. So there's going to be the pod itself and then the strap. The pod charges via this magnetic charging cable right here, which just attaches just like that. And then on the other end is USB-C. Now what's interesting about this magnetic charging portion right here is that it's actually the same kind of connector that Shox uses on some of their bone conduction headphones. Kind of interesting. And then for connectivity, the TRACKR has 3 Bluetooth connections along with unlimited ANT+ connections. So that provides a ton of flexibility to use it with nearly any combination of fitness apps, watches, bike computers, and your Apple TV, like all at the same time. 2 Bluetooth connections is honestly enough to cover like 99% of the use cases out there, but with the TRACKR, hey, you get 3. And then you can also connect the TRACKR to the Wahoo app on your smartphone, and here's where you can see your battery status as well as perform software updates. But the pod itself also does have LEDs to indicate pairing, charging, as well as general battery life, but these LEDs don't indicate your heart rate zone or anything like that. And for the kinds of activities that you can use it for, basically anything except for swimming. The entire thing is IPX7 water resistant, so you could very well wear it in the pool, but the TRACKR lacks any onboard storage of heart rate data to track your heart rate in the water. And the reason, by the way, why swim-capable heart rate monitors require onboard storage is that ANT+ and Bluetooth signals don't travel well, if at all, through the water. So that's where swim-capable monitors have some sort of way of storing heart rate data on the strap that can be then downloaded and synced after your session. And then when it comes to comfort, the strap is really good. It's very soft, it's nice and stretchy. It's also plenty grippy too, and it stayed in place for everything that I did with it. I think a good measure for a heart rate strap is if you actually forget about it, which I did with the TRACKR. It's easy to take on and off with a hook and loop closure, and what I also appreciated is that the hook is super low profile, so again, I didn't notice it. Now in terms of accuracy, it's been very, very good, and I've compared it to both other chest heart rate straps like the Polar H9, the Polar H10, as well as the Garmin HRM Pro, as well as optical arm-based heart rate sensors, and the TRACKR is very solid. And in fact, on some of these workouts, it's hard to even see the TRACKR data just because it's essentially identical to the other sources. Now, I do actually want to drill into a bit more detail though with his weight training and high intensity interval session, as this is where I saw the one and only blip from all my testing, which was right here at the end of one set of kettlebell swings. And I'm not exactly sure if maybe the strap lost contact with my body momentarily when I was trying to catch my breath or something like that, but I did want to mention that one blip. Other than that though, it was essentially perfect, and if any of you out there are interested in the accuracy of a chest strap versus an arm heart rate strap, this is a kind of good example of that here, where the 2 chest heart rate straps line up very well, but you'll notice a slight delay with the optical arm heart rate sensors, as well as some slight inaccuracies with some of these more jarring arm movements. Oh, and for another fun little fact, I actually got the TRACKR pod to work with other straps from other manufacturers, namely the Polar Pro strap, as well as the strap from the Polar H9, and both work just fine. The strap on the TRACKR is a really good strap and all, and it's also pretty cheap to replace at like $20, but if you do prefer something a bit more premium, you could spring for that Polar Pro strap, which has a clasp closure, as well as a few more grippy bits to keep it even more secure. And there's also some other small details which I appreciate, such as the fact that they print the sensor ID right on the back of the pod so you know which sensor you're pairing to. And then you can also apparently just leave the pod attached to the strap when you're not using it and it won't experience much discharge. However, I still just remove the pod just out of good practice. Oh, and then I almost forgot to mention that you can also use this to measure your HRV with apps like Elite HRV. So yeah, in terms of accuracy as well as battery life, it's performed extremely well and it's good to go there. But now let's talk about how the Tracker compares to other options on the market. And the two closest competitors in terms of features are the Polar H9 and the Garmin HRM Dual. The H9 at full asking price is $65, where the HRM Dual is $69, again at full price. The Tracker is $89, so what are you getting for that extra $20 or so? Well, it's basically that one extra Bluetooth connection as well as the rechargeability. Do I think that extra $20 is worth it? Well, that third Bluetooth connection I suppose could come in handy in some situations, and the rechargeability is also convenient where you don't necessarily need to replace your battery every 6 months to a year or so. Personally, I don't really have a problem though changing out a coin cell battery, but I suppose there is that argument for less waste with the Tracker, where if it does indeed last for like, let's say 3+ years, that's what maybe like 4 to 5 less coin cell batteries in the garbage. The comparison kind of gets interesting though if you're looking more around that $90 price range where this really sits, where a Polar H10 at full asking price is $100, but it's oftentimes on sale for $90. The Polar H10 has 2 additional features with onboard storage for swimming and some other activities, as well as an additional 5 GHz transmission, which can be used with some gym equipment. Now, although the onboard storage is nice to have with the H10 for stuff like swimming, it is all tied to Polar's ecosystem, and that's actually very much the same for Garmin's swim-capable straps as well. So that's something to consider with the storage heart rate features on these devices, is that it's generally tied to a particular brand and their ecosystem. And then when it comes to reliability, again, I can't really speak to the long-term reliability of the Tracker quite yet, but with the H10, I usually have to replace the strap itself every year or so, and I've actually had one pod completely fail on me after about 3 years of use. In terms of accuracy though, I trust both the Tracker as well as the H10. There's really not going to be much difference there at all. Now, compared to a Garmin HRM Pro or HRM Pro Plus, at full asking price, the HRM Pros are $130, but they're almost always hovering around that $100 mark on sale. With the HRM Pro and the HRM Pro Plus, you get the offline storage just like the H10, but again, it is all tied to the Garmin ecosystem and their own devices. But the HRM Pro also comes with the ability to track advanced running dynamics, which doesn't come on this Tracker. However, a lot of watches nowadays are actually already collecting a lot of this data, like running power from the wrist itself, so I'm not sure if that's going to be a compelling difference or not. So Wahoo has definitely seemed to redeem themselves with the Tracker, and I'll definitely have it in my rotation of heart rate straps that I use as references for comparing against watches and other devices. The price really is the tricky part for me though with this, where I think it should be around that $80 price range considering the other options in the market. There's definitely something to be said for the convenience of being able to recharge it, but just make sure that you know where this charging cable is after 100 hours of use. Anyhow, that's the new Wahoo Tracker, and if you have any questions about it that I didn't cover in this video, feel free to drop a comment down in the comment section down below, and if you found the information in this video useful, do me a favor and also hit that like button, and also subscribe to the channel for plenty more sports tech videos that are right around the corner. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.